bull riding isn't just a sport. It's an argument with gravity, with pain, and with a 2-ton beast. Folks love the big rides, the shiny buckles, but what you don't see is the wreckage behind those 8 seconds.
They've met before. This bull's a mean one. Not gonna have a chance to be. Hey!
On the climb, and it could start right here. Ooh.
Today, we're counting down 10 bull riding nightmares that came true in rodeo history, crashes that left men broken, and wrecks that ended careers in an instant. Let's start with Reese Mitchell. A bull crushed him so violently, the crowd felt it in their own bones. Real-time pain relief velocity tour. Reese Mitchell climbed into that chute with fire in his eyes. Ready, confident, but confidence means nothing when the bull decides otherwise. The gate cracked and Mitchell barely had time to settle before the storm hit.
Mike Miller. No. Does not. Look out, look out.
The bull exploded, jerking, slamming, pure fury. He threw Reese around like a rag doll in a tornado. Then came the stomp, heavy, crushing, final.
He's gonna do exactly what he's built to do. Take that bull away from the cowboy, and it's not that one that gets him.
The crowd fell silent. You could feel the pain ripple through the arena, like everyone took the hit with him. He stayed down for a moment. The arena held its breath, waiting for movement. Finally, he rolled over, forced himself back to his feet. Some wrecks fade. This one didn't. It seared itself into every set of eyes watching that night. Up next, Cooper Davis, trapped, dragged, and nearly destroyed by Wicked. Springfield Championship 2015. Cooper Davis was at the top of his game. He drew Wicked, a bull with a brutal reputation, but Cooper looked ready. For a second, it almost seemed like he had it under control. Then Wicked exploded. Davis shot out of the saddle. It looked like he was free, but disaster struck. His hand stayed locked in the rope. The nightmare every rider fears.
And from Cooper Davis, he can't get that leg back down to buy him a second chance, but you know, his hand's caught in the rope and the bull's stepping on him. You see it?
He wasn't just bucked off, he was trapped, dragged, whipped, stepped on. His body slammed around helplessly, while the bull showed no mercy. The bullfighters sprinted in, diving to untangle him. Because a hang-up can steal everything in seconds, Davis survived, but the wreck left a mark on a career built on survival. For Keith Roquemore, getting dragged can wreck a body, but the next hit goes straight for the head. Round 2, Table Mountain Casino, Fresno. Keith Roquemore pulled his rope tight on a bull named Attitude Adjustment. The name wasn't just clever, it was prophecy. The gate swung open. Within seconds, Attitude Adjustment delivered a skull-crushing headshot that stopped everyone cold.
Oh, look out. We're watching our Dickies Durable Fighters going to work.
Roquemore hit the dirt disoriented, body limp, eyes empty. This wasn't just another wreck, it was the kind of hit that doesn't fade. After a week of ice packs and painkillers, it rewired him. A concussion so severe, it changed the circuitry of his brain.
Watching this replay back, and I tell you what, he hit the ground really hard. I don't know if it just let the air out of him.
That's the danger of this sport. Broken bones heal, but head trauma rewrites who you are. That night, every cowboy watching knew they'd seen the real enemy of bull riding. Not the broken ribs, not the bruises, but brain injury. Then comes Chase Outlaw, his face shattered by war cloud, rebuilt with metal. Cheyenne Frontier Days 2018. Chase Outlaw climbed on war cloud, a bull with a reputation for ending careers. The gate cracked, and in less than 2 seconds, his world was destroyed. War cloud drove his skull straight into Outlaw's face, the force like a wrecking ball.
On the climb, and it could start right here. Ooh.
His bones shattered like glass, both eye sockets crushed, his face reduced to rubble. He went down in a pool of blood. The arena fell into deadly silence.
We're gonna watch it back here. Watch the Contact there.
12 hours of surgery followed, titanium plates and screws. Piece by piece, they rebuilt his face. Doctors told him he'd never ride again. Outlaw didn't accept that. 75 days later, he climbed back onto the bull, scarred, rebuilt, still chasing the rush. Coming up next, Frank Newsome, the bullfighter who got wrecked, protecting another cowboy. This wasn't about chasing 8 seconds. This was about Frank Newsome, one of the toughest bullfighters in the game. His job, step into danger, so someone else can make it out alive. That night, Bonner Bolton hit the dirt, and the bull decided to turn mean.
Troy Wilkinson after having a big weekend on
Instead of running off, the bull locked eyes on Newsome. He charged like a missile. In a blink, Frank was hit, tossed sky high, smashed back into the dirt. Some folks couldn't even look. His body crumpled, twisted, but that's the job. Take the pain. So the cowboy doesn't. Frank shook it off, like being hammered by a ton of muscle and horn was just another night's work. That's the price of the job, pain traded for someone else's safety. If that was brutal, Eduardo Aarito's clash with Little Red Jacket was bone-rattling. The 15-15 bucking battle, Eduardo came in confident, locked in, ready for war. He'd studied, prepared, told himself he was built for this moment, but bulls don't play by the rules. Little Red Jacket shot out of the gate like a storm with hooves. In seconds, Eduardo was rocked. A hit that rattled through the arena like thunder splitting the sky. The sound wasn't just noise. It was violence made real. He slammed into the dirt, body shaking, air gone from his lungs.
You see he's just a little bit loose and he takes one right on the end of the chin.
Fans leaned in, waiting to see if he'd rise, and he did. Sore, battered, but standing. A week later, he was back in the chute, rope in hand, climbing onto the next bull. That's not insanity, that's cowboy DNA. Then comes JB Mooney versus Fudge. One violent hit that tore his body apart. JB Mooney was known for being fearless, maybe reckless, but always hungry to ride anything that moved. That night, he matched up with Fudge, one of the nastiest in the pen. The gate cracked, and it was pure chaos. Fudge launched with fury, hit Mooney so hard, it scrambled him in an instant.
Oh, he got popped, guys.
Round 3, 2013 PBR Tacoma Invitational. JB barely had time to react before the stomping started. His body folded under the hooves. Another brutal chapter added to his long list of injuries.
Big jump, goes left, right, JB on the back of his arm and just pulls him inside. We talk about a bull dropping those shoulders.
With Fudge, he paid heavily, but Mooney never stopped riding. Year after year, he spent what was left of his body for one more chance at glory. Up next, Chris Shivers, whose final ride was turned into a cruel farewell. World Finals 2012. Chris Shivers, a legend, one of the toughest men ever to climb on a bull. This was supposed to be his farewell ride. He drew Smackdown, a bull that lived up to his name. The crowd was buzzing, ready for a champion send-off. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. Shivers' hand got caught in the rope. Smackdown spun him violently, dragging, slamming him around as the arena went silent. It wasn't just a wreck, it was heartbreak. You could feel the dream unraveling right there in front of everyone. Later, Shivers admitted, it hurt to end like that. He had always pictured walking away strong, not broken, but the sport. Doesn't care about fairy tale endings. Then there's Matt Triplett, launched sky high by Hot Iron in just 2 seconds. Hot Iron, a bull that moved with the fury of a freight train derailing at full speed. Triplett climbed in with confidence, thought he could make something happen. For just over 2 seconds, it looked possible. Then Hot Iron erupted, launched him straight into the air like he weighed nothing at all.
Iron they've met before. This bull's a mean one. Not gonna have a chance to be. Hey!
The crowd watched him fly, twisting against the night sky, then slamming back into the dirt with bone-jarring force.
2.09. This one, exactly the same, 2.06.
It was violent, yes, but it could have been worse. Triplett scrambled up, shook off the dust, walked away with nothing more than wounded pride. In this game, sometimes you get broken, sometimes you get lucky. This time, luck showed up. Finally comes Cody Nance, thrown down and slammed into the dirt by Asteroid. Blue Def Tour 2016. Cody Nance believed he had Asteroid figured out, thought he'd cracked the Bull's code, ready to ride him into submission, but Asteroid wasn't built to be solved. The gate opened, and in a flash, Nance was launched. One violent buck, one bone-crunching slam, face first in the dirt before his mind even caught up. It wasn't a ride, it was a demolition. The crowd felt the impact, the kind that rattles teeth just watching it. Nance walked away sore, a pride shattered more than his body. A brutal reminder, bulls don't bend to your plan, they teach lessons the hard way, and Asteroid delivered his fast. These weren't just wrecks, they were living nightmares. Which moment hit you hardest? Drop it below. And if you want more brutal rodeo stories, straight from the arena floor, like, share, and subscribe, because the chaos never ends.